Hello and welcome from Glasgow to the third annual LGIU Scotland and CCLA Cllr Awards, the only national awards ceremony celebrating the individual achievements of councillors. I'm Paul Murricane. You might remember me from STV News and Radio Clyde News if you have a phenomenally good memory. But tonight I'm honoured to be here as your MC. We'll also be joined by some special guests before unveiling this year's winners. Now, while things might look a little different this year for these lockdown awards and we're unable to celebrate in person, the show must go on. And given what councils up and down the country have achieved in the last year, a year none of us could have predicted, now more than ever, they must be recognised for their outstanding contributions. Councils have been and are continuing to respond to the COVID-19 situation magnificently. Has it been publicly appreciated? Well, tonight it will be. We're live on YouTube and really pleased to have so many of you joining us tonight. You can join in tonight's celebrations by using the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen. We'd also love to see how you're celebrating tonight using the hashtag Cllr Awards.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Behind me. So, are you celebrating with your family, kids, a glass of bubbles, or even your pets? If so, share the pics now. We have 8 categories and 29 incredible finalists to tell you about tonight. Let's see everyone. If you're all there, all wave. Let's see you. Do we have everybody there? Maybe we do. Yes, there they all are. All waving, all excited, and no doubt a little bit nervous as well. Great to see you all. Well, the Cllr Awards judges have asked me to say a few words about how incredibly tough it was to judge the awards this year. The standard was so very high. Their message to you all was thank you for what you've all achieved this year. All of your achievements are phenomenal. Now, before we begin the awards presentation, I'd like to introduce my co-host, as it were, for the evening, who many of you will already know, the Chief Executive of Local Government Information Unit Scotland, Jonathan Carr-West. He'll give us a bit of background about the awards and how all this came about. So, Jonathan, over to you.
Thanks, Paul. Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan Carr-West. I'm Chief Exec of LGIU. It's great to see you all here this evening, even if it is virtually and not in person. It's one of my great pleasures as Chief Exec to host these awards every year. And given the 2020 we've had, I think the Cllr Awards hold even more significance this year than ever before. COVID-19 has presented this country with a set of challenges that none of us can imagine. But councillors up and down the country have risen to these challenges. Vulnerable residents, they've sourced PPE for frontline workers, they've found temporary accommodation for homeless, much, much more. Local government has helped by sacrificing time and energy to ensure that vital services can continue, and that residents across the country are supported in this unprecedented crisis. So we're particularly proud to unveil these winners for the 2020 Cllr Awards. This is the third year that we've run these awards in Scotland, and they're unique because while there are plenty of other things that celebrate or recognise councils, these are the only awards that celebrate the achievements of individual councillors, men and women across the country who give up their time for the communities that they represent. And their achievements, we think, showcase the very best of local government at a time when the country faces one of the greatest hardships we've ever faced. So now, more than ever, we need to honour these unsung heroes. We're always overwhelmed by the quality and the quantity of the nominations we get every year. Over 100 this year in Scotland, time high. And I think, honestly, these 2020 nominations are the best we've ever had. They're all outstanding examples of a councillor's commitment to their communities, a commitment that shone through more than ever this year. These are really challenging times for local government. But it's really great, I think, at least once a year for us all to be able to come together and tell some positive stories and celebrate the success of our colleagues. Now, at LGIU Scotland, we work with our members to tackle the big challenges that the sector faces. We're a cross-party, member-led organisation run for and by local government. And we believe that the best decisions are made locally. These awards are a great opportunity to draw out inspiring stories of hard work and passion playing out across the country. Now, As Paul said, thanks to the outstanding quality of the nominations, it was a really tough process to decide the winners. We're really grateful to our judging panel for giving their time and their expert view. And of course, we're grateful to our founding partners, CCLA, without whom these awards wouldn't be possible. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And we look forward to unveiling the winners together.
Thanks very much, Jonathan. And we can just about hear you there. We're sorting out the sound. Well, I'm pleased to now introduce Councillor Alison Everson, the President of Cllr and co-leader of Aberdeenshire Council, who has a few words to share with our shortlist and guests. Councillor Everson was first elected to Aberdeenshire Council in 2012, becoming Opposition Deputy Leader and President of Cllr in 2017, making her the 15th President and the 3rd female President. She sent us this message earlier.
Good evening. Last year we were together in Edinburgh City Chambers, together celebrating the wonderful winners of the LGIU Cllr Awards. Who could have known that this year we would be celebrating in a very different way? It's often said there's no point arguing how relevant you are. What's important is to demonstrate it. And this year, councils and councillors right across Scotland have really demonstrated how relevant we are, how important our sphere of government is. We've never had a more important time to show community leadership and help get communities through very difficult circumstances. But this year we've shown the same grit and determination that councillors in times past have shown, and we've shown how important it is to all of us to put our communities first. We have shown what can be achieved when strong, empowered local government works with strong, empowered communities for the benefit of all. Cllr local government, Scotland's councils, they're not names or logos. They are the essential deliverers of services to the most vulnerable people in our communities, and we should all be proud of the work we do. I'm really glad the LGIU Scotland has carried on with these awards this year. It's really important to give recognition to so many elected members right across Scotland. So many people are deserving of rewards. Whatever the outcome is tonight, thank you to everybody. Thank you to all our councillors for the tremendous work they do. Thank you for supporting our communities in such difficult circumstances as these. Thank you.
Thanks so much for your kind words, Alison. Now, we're delighted to introduce our next guest, who's joining us live for the awards this evening. Kevin Stewart, MSP, is Minister for Local Government, Housing and Planning and MSP for Aberdeenshire Central. He's held his ministerial post since 2016 and was formerly a councillor on Aberdeen City Council, where he served as Deputy Leader. Mr. Stewart, we're honoured to have you here tonight. What do you think of the event?
Thank you very much, Paul, and so far, so good. First of all, I'd like to start by thanking the Local Government Information Unit and sponsor body CCLA for inviting me this evening to say a few words on this, the 3rd annual Councillors Achievement Award Ceremony. And like many of you, I would prefer to be with you in person, but I'm sure that we're all in for a great night, even though we're not together. It's always a great honour to be part of this award ceremony. It's a real celebration of achievement in local government and an opportunity to recognise and to reward councillors for the outstanding work that they do. Even more so this year with the unprecedented challenges that we all face with the COVID-19 pandemic, which has been forced upon us. These awards demonstrate the wide range of services provided by councils and underlines the crucial role councillors play in their successful delivery. Looking at the award categories from education, collaborative working, leadership, to championing the diverse needs of Scotland's communities, they all recognise the positive impact that councillors are making, which is important if we want to break down barriers to encourage a wider range of people to seek election in future. Importantly, It also recognises the outstanding impact councillors have made over a long period of time, devoting much of their lives to making a real difference to the people and the communities that they serve. And having been a councillor myself, I know that it can seem like a thankless task at times. It requires a lot of hard work, dedication, and leadership, and that commitment can sometimes go unnoticed. However, as I'm sure you will all agree, it's a hugely rewarding and enriching experience as you can make a real difference to the lives of people in the area and communities that you represent. This year has, of course, not been a normal year. Now, over 8 months into this pandemic, there's not a single person whose life has not been changed in one way or another across the country. As the time that we have spent living with the restrictions turns from days to weeks to months, I'd like to take this opportunity myself to acknowledge the sterling work that councils and councillors are doing. You have played and will continue to play a central part in our response to the pandemic by keeping the most vulnerable in our society safe and to ensure that essential services are still available. It's therefore fitting that you have a COVID-19 Heroes Award tonight too. The innovation and hard work demonstrated in these awards tonight is a symbol of how we will be able to progress once this crisis is over. And I'm sure that by continuing to work together, we will successfully overcome any future challenges. To conclude, you should all take great pride in you and your council's response to COVID-19. The strength of our partnership with Cllr has enabled us to move quickly and flexibly. It has shown that work can be done differently and proved we can together redesign services at great speed. And I'm certain that we can build on this incredible work by embedding these positive changes in order to ensure that our services best meet the ever-evolving needs of people and communities. I'd like to thank you again for all of your excellent work and your tremendous achievements over the past year. And I hope that you all have a very, very successful night. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Kevin, for your remarks and for being here with us all tonight. And I have to say, I do like your background. Aberdeen's never looked better, and we always know it's always got a big blue sky on it. So thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Appreciated. Now, we're very excited to turn our attention to the award presentations for tonight. And here is the big reveal, the way it will work. Throughout the evening, Jonathan will introduce the shortlist for each category. You'll see and hear all of their remarkable stories, because this really is not just about awards and all of that. It's about the stories of the people involved. So we'll hear those before he and some of our special guests have the pleasure of announcing the winner. So, Jonathan, to announce the first award of the night. Now, this is the first time we've had an award for collaborative working, isn't it?
That's right, it is. This award is also unique in that it's the only one that celebrates the whole group of councillors as opposed to an individual. So it focused on those who have worked effectively together to undertake a new project or implement a new process or better scrutinise council proceedings. Now, as it's the first year we've run this award, we did receive slightly fewer nominations than we did for the others, but they're no less stellar for all that. So we've only shortlisted one group of councillors for this award. Let's hear a little bit about their outstanding work.
There's just one joint nomination for collaborative working, Siobhan Brown and Laura Brennan-Whitefield, who together founded the Wallistown Action Group to bring a sense of pride back to their two quite different districts of Ayr North and Ayr West.
The reason that we set up this group is that Wallistown is separated into two parts. I have North and Siobhan's got South.
I think it came to me in 2017 that my ward is very diverse, and a lot of people that got in touch with me were all from my affluent areas, and I heard very little from the Wallistown area where my deprived community was. So I think what we saw was an opportunity to try and collaborate together. One of our projects was to engage with the local community and the residents, and we got funding to do it, 1 block of flats, and we painted the flats from top to bottom. The councillors did, and the residents did, and officers did, and we transformed one of the buildings, gave a bit of positivity to the community and the residents that lived in that block, that we're serious and we really do want to do our bit to help Wallistown.
I think it showed that we were serious about helping the area, and we remain serious to this day.
I'm delighted to say that these outstanding 2 councillors are the first ever winners of the Collaborative Working Award. Congratulations, Laura and Siobhan.
Huge congratulations. Well done to both of you. That's terrific. I think we can speak first to Laura Brennan Whitefield, if she's there. And many congratulations. There she is. Congratulations. Thought occurs to me you're from areas that are geographically quite close, but demographically quite different. How do you find common ground in what you want to achieve for the Wallistown Action Group?
Yeah, quite simply, although it's a different area, Wallistown is essentially one community separated by a road, so it simply made sense for us to work together in order to achieve change for the whole of the area. So.
And did that help in a way, bringing the people together from the different areas from west and north to be able to perhaps achieve more than if you were just working separately? I suppose that's the idea of collaborative working, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's always good to have 2 people rather than one working by yourself. And yeah, absolutely, it just made sense to work together.
Excellent. Well, I mean, huge congratulations. You may now celebrate. You have our permission. Let's see whether we can now speak to Siobhan Brown as well, who should be about. And we should be able to get in touch with you. They have to do a little bit of technical wizardry to move from one to the other. It's not apparently just a question of clicking on the mouse. So as soon as we can, we'll have a quick word with Siobhan and we'll celebrate with her as well. Of course, there she is. Hello,
yes,
Siobhan.
I'm unmuted. Hi, thank you.
Well done. Well done indeed. Here's one thing that occurred to me. I noticed that you lured a lot of people to meetings in the mornings by offering them rolls with bacon and sausages, and probably vegetarian version as well. Who came up with that idea, and how much did that help to attract people in to work together, would you say?
I'm not familiar with that, to be honest with you. We did have nightly meetings in community centres and local schools, and we had officers and residents come along in the Wallistown area, but we didn't have morning meetings.
Oh, well, apparently the people that nominated you seem to be very keen on that. And you managed to get everyone together, and to be able, they all did turn up. There was that sense of momentum came through, did it?
Yeah, sorry, I'm having difficulty with the sound here, but yeah, I think what it was initially when we were first elected, as Laura said, it was just made sense for us to work together. I attended my local community council, which Wallistown was part of, and there was a lack of representation from the area, and Laura and I thought, well, we're going to go into the area, and that's where we decided that we'd go in and we'd hold our own meetings in community centres and local schools, and between that get officers in and really try and engage more, because they weren't going to come to the community councils that were in the area. And from there, where we've been able to, and we have to stress this is still a big work in progress, and we've still got a lot of work to do, but we've been engaging with them with local community gardens, and also we had a VAT refund of 240,000, which we will be creating a new swing park for the children of Wallistown and a skateboard park, which will be complete by next summer. So that will improve the lives of the children in the area.
Indeed. Well, always work in progress, isn't it? But you've done so well. Hearty congratulations. And thank you for being our first award winners of the night. Well done, you both.
Thank you.
We're going to move on now to the second award, the Champion for Education. Well, it's been such a tough year for all students in Scotland, and some quite revolutionary solutions have been needed to help ensure our young people get as good a start in life as possible in these extraordinary times. Over to Jonathan for a bit more.
Thanks, Paul. So the Champion for Education Award celebrates councillors who've made a huge contribution to supporting all residents to get the best possible educational experience. From being a strong advocate for pupil voices to supporting projects for students with special needs or pursuing innovative projects to build educational capacity, all of these councillors are real champions for their local community. So let's hear a bit about the shortlist for this category before one of our esteemed judges, Councillor Kirstine Sullivan, who's the Deputy Leader of West Lothian Council, reveals the winner for the Champion for Education.
In being a champion for education, Soraya Siddiqui is a champion for the BAME community she represents. They say she is the opposite of what a politician is, in a good way.
She's helped us to sign a petition for having an improved playground and enhanced play area for our school.
Whenever we got any issues like nursery problems, schooling places for our children, and any littering issues in our closes, we always contact local councillor Soraya Siddiqui, which is best councillor, I think, for our area.
She's described as a beacon of hope for all in Govan Hill. This certainly worked when one mum fought against Glasgow City Council's decision not to offer her child any of the 1,140 hours of fully funded early learning and childcare.
She knew exactly what needed to be done. She was fully supportive. She worked away on this for a period of 6 to 8 weeks, maybe a bit longer. She was in touch with me in the evenings, 7 days a week. She really took it on board as if it was her own issue.
Featured on a BBC item about the need for more minority ethnic women in the Scottish Parliament, she's described as a kind-hearted and approachable woman who's always motivating and inspiring BME women to follow their dreams. Faye Sinclair, nominated from Fife Council, became Education Convener in 2017. She's an unrivalled passion and knowledge of education issues. From school meals and safe walking routes to playful pedagogy in early years and building projects ranging from new nurseries to integrated high school and further education campuses, Faye understands the issues and is able to communicate them effectively. But when the devastating fire at Woodmill High School made a huge impact on the area, Faye's support for the families stood out. Faye has calmly steered Fife through its ambitious early years expansion, and with her support, despite coronavirus obstacles, Fife will deliver more than 1,000 hours of education. She's 3 young children who are regular attendees at community meetings and now also frequently appear in the background at virtual council meetings. One supporter of David MacDonald as Champion for Education notes that he is an independent, and he says, "I really like the fact that he doesn't represent a political party. He cares first and foremost for the community he represents and wants to improve the lives of people before anything else." For many families, it's his determined action to set up a school bus service for Willingwood High School after First Bus gave up the service and local suppliers quoted 3 times the price. Without a bus, 1,800 pupils could find themselves walking 2.5 miles to school in the pouring rain. But Councillor MacDonald set up a community interest company, buying a bus and employing local people to run the service. He's managed to keep the weekly price approximately the same as before, and the service will make sure that hundreds of children will be transported to school safely in all weather conditions. Councillor MacDonald has also led on a community litter action group to oppose building on vital green space for children in Busby and Netherlee.
The judging panel was overwhelmed by all of the contributions this shortlist has made to their local communities, schools and children. But the winner of the 2020 Champion for Education Award is Councillor Dr. Soraya Siddiqui of Glasgow City Council. Congratulations, Soraya, and thank you for all your hard work.
done. Congratulations, Soraya. You're there. Yes, there she is. Well done. You've made it. You are the champion for education. So that's fantastic. I did notice they've said that you are the opposite of a politician, and they mean that as a compliment. So I wonder, what do you see as your priorities as a councillor?
My priorities as a councillor is to ensure that every voice is heard, and sometimes the voices that are the furthest away from the decision making, the ones that face the most barriers, sometimes that's language, that's inequality, and to bring those voices forefront to the decision makers.
Yeah, indeed. Now, I know that people feel they can contact you at any hour of the day or night. Sorry to say that on YouTube, so everyone will know that. You take on their concerns personally. What is it that motivates you and gives you the energy to be available at all this time?
I've faced inequality, I've faced barriers, and I know how that feels. And I'm motivated to make sure that people's and the community's voices are heard. When I focus and I put my mind on something, I want to make sure that I get a result for my communities that I serve.
Indeed. Well, you've done magnificently. Really well done. Congratulations on winning that in a very high quality and hard fought category as well. And we've got quite a few tweets and messages in. I can just read a couple of them. We've got one from Councillor Laura Murta, who says, "Good luck to everyone. It's actually lovely to see everyone together for something other than the usual Zoom meetings." Yeah, bit more pleasant, perhaps. Jules Bell says, "Good to see Alison Everson and Kevin Stewart, SNB." He's there. Kevin's still there. I can see him watching tonight. Alison CD, currently watching the Scotland Councillor Awards. Well done to everyone nominated for an award, and huge congratulations to the winners of individual categories. Seems to have a picture of Jonathan underneath for some reason. That's quite a pleasant picture. Anyway, we move on now to the award for Community Champion. 4 nominees, and each one a real well-known personality in their community, aren't they, Jonathan?
Absolutely, Paul. So last year, the Community Champion Award was so popular that the judges decided to split it into 2 categories, one rural and one urban, to recognise the unique challenges that councillors in both of those sorts of areas deal with every day. So we're going to start with the award for councillors in mainly rural constituencies who've gone above and beyond the call of duty in terms of representing and engaging with their communities. So let's hear a little bit about the short.
Ian Ferguson's nomination as Community Champion rests on one of the most sensitive and difficult subjects, childhood emotional trauma. Ian has spent a large part of his time as councillor at Fife Council to promote awareness of adverse childhood experiences. He's arranged screenings of the Resilience film to elected members and others, and was successful in getting his motion passed by Fife Council for the authority to become ACE aware and embed trauma-informed practice across directorates. He's also personally supported a colleague to feel empowered in telling her own story of childhood trauma, which had a powerful impact through local media. After a career in the oil industry, Councillor Glenn Reid has devoted his energies to community projects such as sorting out the local Mid-Mill School football pitch. Many of the local grass pitches are often waterlogged or frozen, so he campaigned to open up the pitch. He suggested and coordinated a one-club trial for 2 nights per week, and then organised a rollout until the facility was open 6 days a week, right through until 10 p.m. The pitch is now fully booked by youth and adult teams as well as recreational players. He also recently won backing for his idea of an e-bike hub for the new Cllr train station. And in the face of cuts to bus services, which exasperated rural residents, he persuaded the council to design a cycle path to connect 2 towns in his ward to the town which hosts the local academy. It means pupils will be able to safely access the academy's leisure facilities independently outside of school hours. From dog mess to potholes and everything in between, if Stephen Burns can't get it fixed, he knows someone who can. That's why he's so popular in the local area. Well, that's the words of a local Paisley South West resident backing Councillor Burns' nomination as Community Champion of the Year. Stephen's main achievement has been the spearheading of the Team Up to Clean Up initiative in his ward, and has made it accessible for everyone to help clean up Glenburn, Foxbar and the Glenifer Braes area. He organised the removal of hundreds of illegally dumped tyres from the country park, which is the jewel in the crown of Renfrewshire's parks. But it's his hands-on attitude that shines through. He gets stuck into every issue, using a common sense and a get-it-done approach. His role in planning allowed stalled efforts over a disused territorial army building that's been empty for years to finally make some progress, starting with inspections and a site visit that was on the verge of being denied. But when the council officers suggest schemes which are not going to benefit the community, Stephen is prepared to challenge these proposals without fear or favour. Having a councillor with a proactive approach rather than reactive, they say, is simply a breath of fresh air. It's David Watson's role as an independent councillor that seems to have made the most impact with his constituents in East Kilbride. The nomination of the South Lanarkshire councillor says, "We believe he's there to fight for the area, not for any political party." He makes himself available to everyone with excellent service and dedication. He's been a stout campaigner against the Stuartfield Way dualling project to protect the local nature reserve and the James Hamilton Heritage Park, all threatened by the proposed building work. Councillor Watson's successful fight against fly tipping and, most importantly, getting the grass cut after the contract was stopped by the council. He's always watching out for things that a lot of people don't know about until it'll be too late. So he is, they say, a genuine councillor that cares for their local area on behalf of the residents. And they add, "We've had lots of councillors in the past who seem to raise their profile when it's politically important, but the rest of the year you don't see so much activity. David Watson is a constant."
And it's my privilege to announce that the judges have selected 2 winners for the non-city community champion this year. Congratulations go to Councillor Stephen Burns from Renfrewshire and Councillor Glenn Reid from Aberdeenshire Council. Congratulations to you both.
Deserved. Well done. We can speak to them both. I think we can start with Glenn Reid, if I'm right, or is it Stephen we're going to first? We'll soon find out when they pop up on the screen. And congratulations to them all. Who have we got on first here? Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Saying hello. Is it Stephen we've got there? It is.
Hello there.
Excellent. Stephen, tell me about Team Up to Clean Up. What's the range of people you've persuaded to get down and dirty when they're cleaning up?
The Team Up to Clean Up campaign, it was designed to get the community thinking, and the idea behind it was to get the community to take a wee bit of pride in their area. So with the council and me was quite active to get involved and get their hands dirty. You would find a lot of the community would come out. You wouldn't see as much fly tipping. People would just take a wee bit more general pride. Even the kids are involved now. They won't throw rubbish. The council will be brilliant as well when increasing the litter bins. Just in general, it's been absolutely brilliant. Even
Fantastic.
it's
Well,
very, very
you can
well
just see the
involved.
enthusiasm. It just shows, in a way, isn't that what local councils can be all about? It's really making a difference to people's lives. So, Stephen, thanks once again. Huge congratulations. Very well done. Let's see whether or not we can move up to Aberdeen and have a quick word with Glenn if he's there. So we'll just do the usual plugs in and plugs out and see whether we can get round to. There he is in Furryboots City. You know that one, Furryboots. Aberdeen. Well done, Glenn. You moved into local politics after a career in the oil industry. I know that. Has that been useful in navigating the stormy waters of council work?
I think it has, but I think honestly, any career would be handy before going into politics. I mean, I used to work in a large organisation, so I'm used to working within the council. But I don't think it's the oil industry itself makes any particular difference.
Well, you've done tremendously well. I think if you can handle what goes on in the oil rigs, you can certainly handle what goes on in Aberdeen. So huge congratulations. You've done absolutely brilliantly, and I hope you have a terrific rest of the evening celebrating. So Stephen Burns and Glenn Reid, well done to both of you. We'll move on now to the second category, City Community Champion. We've two different types of award to present in terms of communities because Scotland has such a wide diversity from cities to the rural areas. So now it's the turn to celebrate the work of our city community finalists. Jonathan, over to you.
That's right, Paul. So we know that community involvement is essential to the good running of councils. We know that, effective councils have all sorts of ways of doing that, ways of informing, consulting, and involving local people in their business. Elected members have a vital role to play in that. So the City Community Champion Award is for councillors in urban constituencies, or predominantly urban constituencies, who've done that extra bit to get their community engaged and feed the concerns of their community into the decision making of the council. So let's hear a bit about the shortlist, and then another one of our esteemed judges, Councillor Malcolm Bell, who's convener of Shetland Islands Council, will tell us the winner.
As City Community Champion nominee, Kim Long, the Scottish Green Councillor for areas including Denniston, Royston and Sighthill in Glasgow, is a consistent champion for everyone in her community in the East End of Glasgow, from asylum seekers to carers to women at risk of domestic abuse. She's quick to respond when people face awful situations, such as the recent shooting in an asylum hostel in the city. She brings a unique perspective to local government as a feminist activist who's also an unpaid carer, unique in the sense that those voices aren't often heard in council chambers. Before entering local government, she was in community work with a focus on empowering young people and women. She also delivered music projects in prisons across Scotland as a founding team member of social enterprise Vox Liminis. They say she's a force of nature and there need to be more councillors like her. Lynn Short, nominated from Dundee as City Community Champion, has, they say, a very personal approach and is well thought of by members of the community. She's a visible, connected and passionate advocate for communities, groups and local people. Through her membership of bodies, she's connected food groups with community projects in her Maryfield constituency to identify educational ways of helping people grow their own food, used her knowledge and connections to identify funding to provide science packs to needy families, and more. During the coronavirus pandemic, it's the Dundee Bairns charity to help feed deprived households that has really made its mark. It was Lynn's brainchild, which introduces youngsters to basic experiments, with subsequent kits covering themes from bugs and beasties to the human body and forensics. Formerly homeless on the streets of Edinburgh, Councillor Susan Ray has been a doughty fighter in the campaign to save Leith Walk, the major thoroughfare threatened with a partial demolition to make way for hundreds of student flats, a 56-bedroom hotel and 53 affordable homes. The main task was to break down issues of conflict between taxi drivers and cyclists, and by bringing people together she succeeded in presenting a united front against the plans. Her protection of green space from commercial exploitation, such as at Pilrig Park, is also notable. She made sure it was protected from a proposed month-long residency by the Ladyboys of Bangkok by asking searching questions about the damage caused by turning the much-used local parkland into a performance venue. Councillor Bill Cormie seems to know everyone in his Aberdeen constituency of Rosemount, and everyone knows him because he stops to talk and to listen. That's why the impact he's made on the area comes from projects that really matter to people, and ones that councils don't often think about, like the planting of more than 100,000 bulbs to brighten up land outside sheltered housing.
But this year has been extra special, as the bulbs obviously bloom in March and April and May, and it's when most folk were, when the pandemic hit us, and it was very worrying. And loads of these sheltered housing folk were indeed self-isolating. So all they had to do was look out their window to see these lovely blooms. There was seeing them every morning.
It's brought older residents and primary school children together, and an urgent and vital campaign really hit the headlines when Councillor Cormie forced a U-turn by Aberdeen City Council over a COVID physical distancing project at Rosemount Place, which local shop owners had dubbed a potential disaster. After his intervention, shopkeepers say the project, which had caused panic, will now work for them and the people of Rosemount.
Good evening everyone, and first of all can I just say thank you to Andy and all his staff at LGIU for organising such a special awards ceremony once again. It's been a real privilege to serve on the judging panel this year, and given all the challenges that have been faced not only by our sector but obviously by our communities as a whole, it's been overwhelming to see the work that councillors have done in the Community Champion category on behalf of their communities to keep their communities healthy, to keep them safe, and of course to keep them connected. They are all true champions, I'm sure you will agree, but there is a winner, and the winner of the 2020 Community Champion Award for Cities is Councillor Lynn Short of Dundee City Council.
Listen to that applause. Well done. So it's Lynn Short as the City Community Champion there. I'm sure you'll agree a very good result, Lynn. So well done. Good to see you there, all happy and smiling. I'm going to ask you about Grow Your Own Food. It sounds like a campaign to turn Dundee vegan or at least vegetarian. How's it going with that?
Well, we actually are a city in the middle of a bread basket, and it just seemed so awful that we have things like food banks, and it was just taking an opportunity to do some urban gardening and just look at helping people to grow their own food on their doorstep. And so much can be gained from working together in the garden.
Indeed, that's worked very well. I'm glad you made the effort. I like the earrings. Terrific.
Well, thank you.
Quick word then about Dundee Bairns, Bunks and Beasties. How does that change the life chances of children, or is that pitching it a bit too high?
Well, it's about breaking down barriers as something that we always worry, well, that's not for me, I don't understand it, I can't go to that place. But if you're introduced very early, then there's an opportunity to just take it as second nature. And I have a son, and I took him to these things and he enjoyed them. And I want that for all of the bairns in Dundee.
Indeed. Well done, Lynn. Fantastic. Well done. Celebrate as much as you want, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's really good. Good to see you. Thanks for that. Well, 4 winners are celebrating so far tonight, and what an eye-opening insight it has been into the many ways in which you're transforming the lives of people in your council areas. But the work of the LGIU goes beyond these shores. They now operate in Ireland and Australia, as well as here in Scotland, and of course across England. And their growing family brings added value to all their members, wherever they are, with a new website giving access to a huge catalogue of international local government content under one virtual roof. Global and local insight and collaboration will be key to the sustainability of local government going forward into the new decade. And in the spirit of this, we're showcasing 2 very different projects at opposite sides of the planet. One from LGIU's work in Australia, but first, slightly nearer home, to see one project from the LGIU just across the Irish Sea.
This used to be an overgrown, derelict open space, an eyesore spoiling the lovely environment of Nobber Village in County Meath in the Republic of Ireland. Now it's a beautifully landscaped public amenity park with paved pathways, car parking spaces, landscaped green area and upgraded entrance from the public road, which also importantly provides safe access to the school. And it's all because of the tireless campaigning of Councillor Eugene Cassidy, who managed to secure a €100,000 grant to complete the project. It's more than just a transformational development. It's now an integral part of the proposed Boyne Valley to Lakelands Greenway walking route, which will, once COVID restrictions are lifted, add to an expected bounce back in tourism for staycations and day trips for for visitors to Ireland's ancient East. At the other end of the globe, LGIU Australia celebrates the achievement of Councillor Sandy Grekas at Georges River Council in New South Wales, who pioneered the True Women Developing Future Leaders programme for over 100 Year 9 and Year 10 students from 6 Georges River schools. This is to empower and support female youth at a particularly challenging time in their adolescence as they transition to adulthood and independence. Councillor Grekas established the programme to inspire local students to become the next generation of leaders in their country and improve the representation of female CEOs at top Australian companies. By building their confidence and self-belief, participants come to learn that there's a community of women around them who will encourage and support them to follow their dreams.
Such inspiring stories there from across the globe, aren't there? A couple more messages here. We've got one from Susan Ray, you remember, from Leith that we saw in the previous package there. Congratulations, Laura Poppet. That is Laura Brennan-Whitefield. Councillor Laura Murta says, so glad to be joining with colleagues across the country. Councils are the beating heart of how local governments serve our communities. Fab to celebrate the hard work of so many amazing colleagues. Well done. Keep them coming. When looking for innovation, a lot of the freshest ideas will come from the newer intake of councillors. And so we move now to one of the most energetically competed categories, New Councillor of the Year. Heather Lamont, Director of Client Investments at CCLA, the founding partner of the Cllr Awards, will introduce the award and announce our winner. Heather has worked in charity finance and management since qualifying as a chartered accountant and is responsible for managing relationships with CCLA's clients. So Heather, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. All of us at CCLA are really proud to be the founding partner of the Cllr Awards. Working together with LGIU Scotland for the 3rd year running, we always look forward to taking the opportunity to recognise and honour those of you leading across local government. Now, this year has given the awards new meaning. Local governments really stepped up to the plate to deliver for communities across the country, and we're honoured to stand alongside you tonight. Now, the New Councillor of the Year award is given to a recently elected councillor who's already making a big impact in their communities in a short time. So let's hear a bit more about this year's shortlist.
Julie Bell moved from broadcasting to politics, and as the Angus Council nominee for New Councillor of the Year, she's particularly interested in health-related issues, poverty, substance misuse, and mental health and well-being. Her nomination stresses that she works diligently for her constituents and her ward, but never loses sight of the big picture across Angus. She's dedicated to partnership working, the third sector, and inclusion. Julie is one of 2 council representatives on Voluntary Action Angus, the third sector interface organisation, and has supported them with their communications during the COVID-19 pandemic as they had a pivotal role in the community effort. She spearheaded motions on gender-based violence on the council and was instrumental in Angus designing an action plan on menopause awareness. She's also very active in her role as council species champion for marine litter and mountain hares, and is passionate about climate change, mental health and young people. It was Kenneth Duffy's action when Graham Fraser tragically took his own life at just 27 that helped the Fraser family, who they said were torn apart. Councillor Duffy came up with the idea of rainbow benches to be placed in the town where Graham grew up, and before they knew it, they had 50 benches on order.
These benches are to serve as an initial go-to point for people struggling with personal issues. The response locally and across social media has been incredible, and for anyone opening up to talk about suicidal feelings is terrifying. But these benches have shown producing a safe space and an opportunity for someone to listen will encourage a nation of listeners, because listening can save lives.
His father says, "It's restored my faith in people in politics. This guy has enormous compassion and really wants to make a difference." This year, the annual Poppy Appeal is under huge pressure, but not if Mark Horsham can help it. an army veteran who's overcome severe injuries when his tank overturned. He's been a tireless champion of the armed forces community in South Lanarkshire and the Poppy Scotland appeal.
Mark's done a huge amount of work. I know that this is a cause really dear to his heart, but particularly in raising awareness around the guaranteed interview scheme. Veterans' services and issues are a priority for him.
As Armed Forces champion, Mark has been the driving force behind South Lanarkshire Council re-signing the Armed Forces Covenant and establishing its role as part of the Firm Base initiative. Mark has also ensured that veterans' issues are at the very forefront of policy development and service delivery in South Lanarkshire.
I often refer veteran clients to Mark for assistance when they have some difficulty with issues with regarding council matters, and Mark will always do everything he can to ensure that the outcome is appropriate, and they always very much appreciate his support.
We've already encountered Siobhan Brown as one of the nominees for collaborative working, but it's for her achievements as a new councillor that she's nominated here. Hitting the ground running when first elected in 2017, she's been the driving force behind many projects such as Don't Trash Air, the anti-litter campaign, and the Baby Bank, providing much-needed clothing and food when families hit a crisis. But it's her COVID-19 support group, Looking Out for Each Other Air, which has really come to the fore this year.
There are a lot of people that are isolated, and there are a lot of elderly people that aren't on the internet. So what the idea was to create a community support structure where you have your street and you would have a contact for one person in your street that you could call and say, look, I might need food, I might need to go to the pharmacy. If they were isolated and they didn't have any family nearby, that it was good to create that support structure, which is now in place. And in the future, if we ever need it, everyone still has that local number that they know they can call.
Kim Long has been the leading voice on asylum justice in Glasgow City Council. Kim has led the Scottish Greens national campaign Welcome Home, calling for asylum housing and support to be taken out of private hands and delivered as a council and community partnership.
It's an utterly brutal system. It takes months, if not years, and it means that many of our constituents are living below the poverty line with no end in sight, unable to work and unable to access benefits either.
They're coming thousands of miles from Africa into the UK and Glasgow. I didn't know anybody there, but we just came in. I met somebody called Kim, and this person called Kim is a messiah to me.
But perhaps her greatest triumph was achieving refugee status for Vietnam trafficking survivor Duc Nguyen.
We had members of the public tweeting the airline, calling them, writing to the Home Secretary, writing to their MPs, signing a petition and generally causing a massive stooshy. And it worked. At the very last minute, we got Luke off the plane. Luke has been granted refugee status, so he can now get on with his life in Glasgow.
Eva Murray appears twice this evening, but here it's her nomination as new councillor at Glasgow City Council that features.
It comes as no great surprise that Councillor Eva has been nominated for both COVID-19 Hero and New Councillor of the Year, and she's completely deserving of both, as she's been a true inspiration in these extraordinary times.
The G13-G14 Community Support Hub, which she helped found, has been a huge juggling act, collating information, setting up and maintaining records, sourcing, collection and distribution of donations, volunteer coordination and support, setting up and maintaining records, and collection and distribution of food parcels.
And deserve to win New Councillor of the Year for your dedication to get the best possible outcomes, the best lives for everyone in our community. All done with lots of energy, enthusiasm and care in the most humble way.
And our colleagues say she has been a joy to work with.
Now, the judging panel were so impressed with all the councillors shortlisted in this category. It's no small feat to become a councillor, and these councillors have really hit the ground running and taken their new roles. We announce the winner on behalf of the judging panel. We'd like to give special commendation to Councillor Kenneth Duffy of North Lanarkshire Council. Kenneth, your work is exemplary and we thank you for your service. And now, The winner of the 2020 New Councillor of the Year award is Councillor Mark Horsham of South Lanarkshire Council. Massive congratulations and a huge amount of thanks to you, Mark, for your incredible work.
Well, what a gallery of talent there, I have to say. And Mark Horsham has come out on top. You've done it. You've won your new Councillor of the Year. Hearty congratulations to you. I have to ask, it's been such an extraordinary, such a strange year, and particularly for the Poppy Appeal. How did the Poppy Appeal in Scotland go this year?
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. Sorry.
Oh, just want to ask you about the Poppy Appeal. How did it go this year? Can you tell me a bit about that?
Well, the Poppy Appeal happened. It was the 1918 Poppy Appeal, the 100 years, and we had a bike in the foyer, and we raised over £1,400 by cycling 1,918 miles.
Absolutely extraordinary. And of course, you know, it's been so much more difficult for people these days. You haven't been able to get the poppies on the streets. Did you manage to raise as much money as you'd hoped? Has it been a success?
Well, yeah. I mean, you see, we're aiming for the £1,918, but I mean, you see, people were generous, and I'd like to thank them all. As you say, for Poppy Scotland, it has had fundraising this year, and next year is going to be an important year as well. And there's already a couple of initiatives in the pipeline.
Well, you may thank them, but I think everyone will be thanking you. It's your absolute dedication, the sheer commitment that you've put into it. And so huge congratulations for being the new Councillor of the Year, Mark. Well done indeed. Very good. We're going to move on now from one end of the career spectrum to the other. We've seen how new councillors can bring fresh enthusiasm to the work councils can achieve. Well, now it's time to celebrate the full extent of that by recognizing those who've reached remarkable heats of achievement in our Lifetime Contribution Award. Jonathan.
Thanks, Paul. So this award recognises councillors who've served their community for an extended period of time, and it celebrates a councillor who's dedicated many, many years to serving their local community through their role on the council, maintaining their passion and enthusiasm for improving their lives of their residents. So let's hear a little bit more about this year's shortlist and their remarkable achievements.
For 40 years, Eileen Logan has been a stalwart of South Lanarkshire Council, and it's her support for young people that really makes her nomination for the Lifetime Contribution Award stand out. Her semi-rural ward of Cllr now boasts 8 new primary schools, 4 with associate nurseries and a new high school. 2 campaigns helped build a new swimming pool, a new stadium and a state-of-the-art leisure centre. She's the driving force behind Cllr Gala Day, described as the day of the year for Cllr. All her life, Eileen has been active in Girl Guiding and the Brownies, taking groups every week for 50 years, despite her council commitments. She's always been active in her local church and is secretary of the St Vincent de Paul Society in Lanarkshire, carrying out charitable work for the least advantaged in the community. But, as she says, helping someone come from a dark place with no hope can be more rewarding than any big project. In 25 years, Ian White's been the Conservative group leader through very different administrations, the last convener of Edinburgh and Lothian Police Board, and one of the founders of the Edinburgh Riding of the Marches, which brought a new local festival steeped in local history back to the city. Ian's political acumen shown over many years and knowledge of when to oppose and when to work with has provided a steadying influence in the council. Throughout this, he's never lost his connection with the community he serves and great sense of civic pride. Ian has unrivalled grasp of governance and brings much needed experience to the role. He can be combative in debate and constructive in discussion, but his service to the city is unrivalled and drives him to continue in his role as leader of the largest group on the council. Councillor Paul Carey's nomination for Lifetime Achievement lists more than 16 major campaigns fought and won since he was first elected to Drumchapel in 2003. We can't mention them all, but amongst those that stand out are his successful campaign to introduce body cameras for traffic wardens, which led to a 95% drop in abuse. His campaign to train local police officers to ride trail bikes, which allowed them to access woodland and canal banks and let them go into areas where cars couldn't go. They now use them in the city centre, and it gives police officers access to the lanes a lot quicker, particularly at night. And he founded the Drumchapel Winter Festival, an innovative way of tackling the problem of rogue bonfires, which now attracts more than 120,000 people to Glasgow Green, while also reducing rogue bonfires by 70%, saving the emergency services a great deal of money. Paul continues to chair the working group that helps organise the event and is pivotal in ensuring that all partners are able to deliver a world-class event for local people. Willie Sawyers has steered Dundee City Council through the most difficult set of financial challenges ever faced. With more than £100 million of costs being stripped out of budgets over the last decade, the impact on service delivery has been more limited than would have been anticipated. At the same time, ambition and resource has been placed high on the agenda to tackle ingrained social ills such as specific funding of the Dundee Drugs Commission, the Fairness Commission and food insecurity work during COVID-19. His diligent and experienced hands at the financial raids helped ensure that Dundee led the way by investing in capital projects such as the waterfront and ensured that resources were made available to deliver ambitious projects such as the V&A. They say his ability to balance difficult financial conditions with the needs of the city is second to none.
What an incredible shortlist. But I'm delighted to say that the winner of this year's Lifetime Achievement Award is Councillor Eileen Logan of South Lanarkshire Council. Many congratulations, Councillor Logan, and thanks for your service at Assembly.
She is. Eileen, well done. Tremendously enthusiastic response there to your winning. So congratulations for that. I'd like to ask you about the building of schools and leisure facilities that you've powered through, some really quite impressive buildings in the last few years. What difference would you say that's made in Cllr?
Children have been my lifelong passion, and to see them all in their new schools and the nurseries, and then being able to go to fantastic leisure centres in my area means the world to me. And it's just, that's what life's about. If you make things easier for children and give them good facilities, then you get good young people, good adults, and that's life.
Indeed, yes. It inspires them, doesn't it? If they're in good condition, good environment, they're going to do better. So Eileen, fantastic. You've done a brilliant job and richly deserved. So well done and many congratulations once again. Thanks so much for joining us, and go and celebrate. We're now going to move on to an award we obviously have not had before, because it's the COVID-19 Hero Award. This has been a year like no other. Who could have predicted how dramatically the world would have changed last March and the world we're living in now? But adversity brings out the best in people, and that's what we celebrate in this part of the evening with our COVID-19 Hero Award. And perhaps it's not a surprise that it's one with so many finalists. There are, 6 nominees in this award, aren't there, Jonathan?
Well, that's right, Paul. We've never done this award before. I hope we'll never have to do it again. But it seemed only right to celebrate those councillors who played such a central role in helping their residents this year. A period of extreme hardship for many because of the pandemic, and a period of grief and trauma for many. And these councillors overcame all the barriers that were posed by social distancing, by self-isolation, by the disruption to their own lives, to make sure that others were able to cope. And So this award is to recognise the councillor who's made a real difference to their community, who's helped to ensure that vital services were continued, and who's gone the extra mile to ensure that no one was left behind during this crisis. Another one of our esteemed Councillor Award judges, Shona Haslam, the leader of Scottish Borders Council, is going to announce the winner of the COVID-19 Hero. But before she does that, let's hear about all of the incredible work that these amazing councillors have carried out.
They say that Elspeth Kerr, Drumchapel councillor, chose to be a voice for those who've been ignored and let down by the system.
She enabled us to get food to the people who needed it most, as well as resources to combat boredom, such as arts and craft sets. Honestly, without the support of Councillor Kerr, Chance to Change would have struggled to provide the service that was badly needed. We can't thank you enough for your ongoing support, but most importantly for caring.
Hi, I'm Councillor Elspeth Kerr, and this is my office.
Between myself and my daughter, we made about 350 face masks and we handed them out to people who needed them. This was all made from spare fabric that we had in the house, and latterly some that was fabric that was donated by Cllr Scotland. We thought it was good to hand them out to people rather than actually sell them, because a lot of people might not have the money to buy a mask.
During this lockdown, she's barely been away from her computer and phone, making sure her ward remains healthy and safe. As COVID-19 Hero nominee from Glasgow City Council, Eva Murray stands out as the driving force behind the Community Aid Hub in Yoker. There's one phrase that typifies her commitment: above and beyond.
Eva has gone above and beyond. She's rolled her sleeves up at ground level and definitely did her very best for everyone in our wider community, my school community here at Corpus Christi, for lots of my friends, and for me too on a personal level. Being a newbie to this area prior to lockdown, I really don't think I would have got through it without her support, her advice and her friendship. So thank you from all of us, Councillor Eva. You are our true COVID hero.
Eva, they say, inspires her volunteers. They say her daily presence at the hub and all the remarkable work she's done to bring the most out of everyone who works there shows why she is a COVID-19 hero. Throughout the COVID-19 lockdown, Laura Murtagh has been heavily involved with the local food bank, the Community Pantry. Why should she be this year's COVID-19 hero? Well, here are 3 reasons.
The appreciation that was out there was just immense, and I feel that it really brought families together, it brought the community together, it gave us all something else to talk about. You know, we set up a separate community help page on Facebook and things like that, where people were posting tips and posting, you know, pleas for help, and people were just coming from all angles to just start giving a hand and just giving what they could back to the community, whereas you probably would never have done this before.
I was really proud to do what I did for my community, and I met a lot of nice people. I had my same wee delivery runs. There used to be an old couple that used to watch for you delivering their wee food package on a Thursday. The women used to stand at the window waving, blow kisses and things like that. It was just nice wee things that rallied you on, kept you going.
She did a great job of not only pulling people together, but making sure that we were doing it in a safe manner and using the right protocols and wearing the right PPE, and making sure that volunteers and recipients were going to be safe.
Laura Murtagh is the councillor for the village of Erth, a small village, but one with a very big heart. It's Leslie McInnes's experience in Geneva and Scotland that brings a wealth of experience to her role at Edinburgh City Council. As Environment and Transport Convener, Leslie has focused her response to the coronavirus pandemic by supporting placemaking to prioritise people over vehicles in the city, driving a project to expand cycling provision, expand public space and close off areas to cars, as well as limit access for residents to create low-traffic neighbourhoods. These proposals have not been unanimously popular, but she's engaged with residents openly and constructively, even attending an open-air public meeting of hundreds of residents to answer questions and explain one of the biggest schemes. It's her ability not only to put together a way forward and secure £5 million in funding to do it, but to also stand up and defend her plans while genuinely listening to people's concerns. She's gone above and beyond in her efforts to improve the environment of the City of Edinburgh. The Lord Provost of Glasgow is a rather grand title, but Philip Bratt's nomination as COVID-19 hero reflects his very direct approach, on the streets personally, doing everything within his power to protect the most vulnerable.
Over the last few months, we have distributed around 5,000 meals to those in our community that were isolating or isolated, elderly, those with young children in the family, or simply those who found themselves needing support because of these testing and difficult times. Throughout the effort, Philip has been happy to do any task, great or small, that would enable us to fulfil our service to our and his community.
Philip Bratt's nominators put it like this: he has led the way in the great city through COVID-19 and shown the people a different side to the role of Lord Provost. Rosemary Leewald is nominated as COVID-19 hero for Fife, but as far as she's concerned, the real heroes are the people she works with.
Over the past several months of 2020, I've been astounded and humbled by our health and social care services in Fife. They've been working in completely different and extraordinary ways and have risen to the very significant challenges posed by COVID-19 pandemic. I wish to congratulate each and every person working within those services and those working in our voluntary and community services.
And in response to the tragic number of care home COVID-19 deaths, Rosemary has spearheaded a new care home oversight group to prevent such a scandal from ever happening again.
"2020 has been an unprecedented year in every way imaginable due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It has impacted each of us through lockdowns and loss. The councillors in this category have gone above and beyond to help their communities at a time when they needed someone the most. And it is for that reason that we are proud to honour them today. You are all heroes in our eyes. Before we announce the winner, on behalf of the judging panel, we would like to give a special commendation to one councillor in this category, and that is Councillor Bailey Philip Bratt of Glasgow City Council. Your work is exemplary and we thank you for your service. And now, the winner of the 2020 COVID-19 Hero Award is Councillor Ava Murray of Glasgow City Council. A massive congratulations and a huge amount of thanks to you for your incredible work.
Well done, Eva. How do you get a winner out of that amazing gallery of talent? But they've done it, so you've done tremendously well. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You've worked hard in the face of real hardship in dealing with COVID-19, but it does look as if you and the young people you work with had quite a lot of fun. Did that help a lot?
No, absolutely. You know, we all kept each other going throughout this pandemic. You know, they mentioned in that I inspired them, but every single day working down at that hub, you know, they inspired me. I learned so much from them, and we tried to make it as fun as possible because you know it was impacting all of us, this crisis, and we tried our best to keep it as light-hearted, but we knew the serious element of it all along.
Oh, well, indeed. And of course, you know, as was said there, as you may have seen, that you know these extraordinary times have brought out the best in people. What have you found that shows that that is true?
I think it's the community spirit. You know, what amazed me was we had community stalwarts from different parts of my ward and, you know, and neighbouring wards who'd never met each other but were doing similar work. And they all came together to basically put in the effort and make sure, you know, everyone was okay and people knew that they had someone to turn to during this crisis, ongoing pandemic. So it's the community spirit and the community groups who really keep our city and, you know, our country going.
Indeed. Well, there's a wonderful note on that point to end on, to say someone to turn to, and you've been someone for the people to turn to. So terrific. Well done, and many congratulations indeed, Eva. Richly deserved.
Thank you again.
Well, now our final award for the night, the coveted Leader of the Year award. Nominations came in from all parts of the country. All of the nominees, of course, were quite surprised that they were nominated, and all, of course, richly deserving of their nominations. Jonathan, it must be an almost impossible task for the judges to pick one from, what, 3 finalists?
Well, almost impossible, yes, although fortunately they have somehow managed it. But yeah, rather than me. Look, as the public face of the council, leaders carry a huge weight on their shoulders. They have to have strong relationships with community groups. They have to put residents at the heart of what they do, but they also have to be responsible for the operations of the whole council and for its strategic direction. This year, more than any other year, that's been an incredible responsibility, a massive burden, and one that all of our nominated leaders have risen to magnificently. Of course, they're also, in the end, accountable for what the council does. So this year's shortlist for Leader of the Year is, I think it's an incredible testament to the power of effective leadership and to how people can use that leadership to stand up for their community. So let's hear about their achievements.
The East Ayrshire nomination for Council Leader of the Year is Douglas Reid. Well, they say you can't be in 2 places at once, but somehow Douglas Reid manages even more than that.
This place, Cllr East Ayrshire, has got great character of people. They've got a great connectivity. They work hard together and play as a team. And these kind of values have always been instilled in me. And I think that's why I've been able to serve as leader, because I recognise it's not just about me, it's about the whole community.
We found him very supportive in terms of putting in touch with the right people within the council as well, to make sure that the council are delivering and taking action that many of the businesses and the local community needs.
As a young person, as a youth activist, it's really, really important that we get a say in our town, and I feel like that is what's happening all over East Ayrshire right now, and that's because of people like Councillor Reid. We're having a huge impact on our community with the way that he's leading the council cabinet.
With incredible effort from everyone in our team, from council officers, from elected members, from our friends, from our families, from our funders and our supporters, in 2020, in the middle of a global pandemic, we are building a theatre at the heart of the new centre stage, Ayrshire's Arts Academy, which we hope is going to become a wonderful model for community wellbeing moving forward with the arts at the heart. So, congratulations on your nomination, you really deserve it, Dougie. Please have a wonderful night, and we can't wait to welcome you here. Have a great time.
Leading from the front, wherever it is needed, is how Douglas Reid has fulfilled the role of leader at East Ayrshire Council. A key part of Aberdeen City Council's success and of Jenny Laing's tenure as leader has been around its partnership with others. The Aberdeen City Region deal, which Jenny chairs, is unique in that most of the money being invested is from the private sector and the membership is shared between the public and private sectors.
There have been many challenges over that period, none more so than now with the COVID-19 situation. But despite the financial pressures that local government finds itself in Aberdeen we have continued to push forward with the transformation programme, both within our own organisation and indeed the city. And much of that has been led by a £1 billion capital investment programme led by the council.
I think it's fantastic that Jenny's been nominated for Council Leader of the Year at the LGIU Awards. I think this is fitting for all the hard work that Jenny's put in over the last 6 years as leader and co-leader of the council. And I know for Jenny it's not about the exciting projects that we do like the new exhibition centre or the new art gallery. It's more about the people and making sure that everyone in Aberdeen has an opportunity to prosper and fulfil their potential.
Another key example is the council's net zero vision for the city. They say that while some have declared a climate emergency, Aberdeen has put forward a plan of real action that will fundamentally change everything it does to become a carbon neutral city. Murray Lyle's leadership and style as leader of Perth and Kinross is credited with driving through the Cross Tay Link Road.
The £40 million investment for the Cross Tay Link Road is fundamental to our future prosperity in Perth and Kinross.
There was a question mark over delivery of the Cross Tay Link Road at the 11th hour when the budget was up for review again, and I believe Murray was instrumental in making sure that didn't fall at the 11th hour.
But perhaps his real legacy will be the Tay Cities deal, a very complex agreement between Holyrood, the Scotland Office and the Treasury. Under the deal, business, higher and further education, local government and the third sector will work closely together to create growth more quickly and sustainably, using the significant public investment to bring greater prosperity and equality.
And it gives me huge pleasure to announce that the winner of the Leader of the Year is Councillor Jenny Lang of Aberdeen City Council. Congratulations, Jenny.
Jenny, well done. You are our Leader of the Year. I see we gave you your Sunday name, Jennifer, there on the caption, but well done indeed. 2020 Leader of the Year, how about that?
Thank you so much.
You've been able to extract money from businesses in Aberdeen to boost the public coffers. Is it charm or hard-headed business or a bit of both, would you think?
Sorry, didn't quite catch the question there.
I was just going to ask whether, in you being able to get money from businesses to go into the public coffers and help to support public developments, was that a hard-headed business approach that worked? A bit of charm or a bit of both, would you say?
Well, I would hope it's a bit of both, if I'm honest, but it has been really important for Aberdeen to make sure that we were getting that partnership working, both with the public and the private sector. And I think we've shown that if you adopt an innovative approach, you can bring that funding in that will help to deliver on the policies that we need to in order to meet the needs of our local communities.
Well, it's been highly successful, I have to say. And of course, there's the net zero campaign to bring down pollution, bring down carbon output. Do you see that as going as well as it can be?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen from tonight the impact that COVID is having. But I think what we all realise right across local government is the recovery phase that we're all going to enter into is going to have to be a green recovery. It's about changing our priorities and seizing on the opportunities that we will have moving forward to do that in an environmentally friendly way. And that's what will deliver for the people, not just the ones we represent now, but future generations that we were hearing about earlier from some of the other nominees. It's important that we have that green recovery for a successful future and a prosperous future for all.
That's why you're Leader of the Year. Well done. Go and celebrate. Jenny Glenn, thanks very much indeed. That's really good. A couple of messages in. Alicia McClure-Reid, well done. Supporting your local community really matters. Heather Lamont, thanks very much for tweeting in as well. Excited to join with us, honouring the commitment, energy and innovation of councillors from across Scotland. Big thanks and congratulations to all the nominees. That's from Heather Lamont, who we saw earlier, of course, from CCLA. Thanks very much indeed. Well, a quick word now from Jonathan. We've come to, that's all the awards we've had. All the winners now know their winners, which is absolutely great. Jonathan, last final few words from you.
Well, I'd just like to say congratulations to all of the winners and to everyone who was shortlisted and indeed everyone who was nominated. I think, you know, it's been this is always, I think, one of the most cheering events of my year, because, you know, there are so many challenges at the moment this year, more than any other, and we spend a lot of time focused on problems, but what we hear about tonight are really inspiring stories of people who are going out of their way, who are doing that, you know, incredible work to represent their community, to help their community. And I think it's really important to tell those stories and to remind ourselves that there are good people out there doing amazing work, and that really should be celebrated.
Indeed. Thanks very much indeed, Jonathan. It's great to hear that. I'm so glad I didn't have to be a judge for these awards. What a task, because every single finalist deserved to be here tonight. Can you all give us one last wave so we can see you all celebrating? There they are. Well done. Fantastic. Great to see you all. So well done to all, of course, to our winners, but also to all the finalists. It's a tremendous achievement. It really has been. In spite of the extraordinary year that we've all been through, I think we can all agree that this year's winners are amongst the best there have ever been. The passion, the commitment we've seen in their stories surely proves that local government isn't about, well, say, politics with a big P as such. It's about people. It's about all of us. We've really seen tonight what the words public service mean. Congratulations to all our winners and to our brilliant shortlist of councillors. We've been incredibly impressed by the quality of the entries this year. Your trophies and certificates are in the post and on their way to you now. And now some thanks, a big thanks to our hugely supportive founding partners of the Cllr Awards, CCLA. Thank you so much. We are very grateful for your generous support, which allows us to run these awards each year. And to our judging panel for putting so much thought and consideration into their selections. And behind the scenes, can I also say a huge thanks to the whole LGIU team and our technical team who've made the first and, well, hopefully last virtual Cllr Awards night work so well. And to you for joining us tonight on YouTube. To everyone who made a nomination, thank you. Without the nominations, we wouldn't be hosting this ceremony. Well, I've been Paul Murricane. It's been a privilege to bring these 2020 LGIU Scotland and CCLA Awards to you. Have a great rest of the evening. Enjoy celebrating, and good night.